Good evening and welcome to the regularly scheduled March 5th, 2014 Bothell Planning Commission meeting. Note that we have 5 planning commissioners present. Mike Stahl is excused this evening, and Patrick Cabe is unexcused at this point. Hopefully he'll show. Seeing we have some folks in the audience, want to open up this opportunity for anybody to make comments or provide input to the Planning Commission on items that are not related to tonight's agenda. Thank you very much. Moving on, we will quick question. Were there minutes, David, to approve this evening? I have a minutes page, but I don't have any minutes in the package. Did I miss something in the package I downloaded?
I don't think we have any for you to review tonight.
Thank you very much. So there's no minutes for approval, no new business. So with that, we will continue the public hearing on the 2015 Periodic Plan and Code Update and the second review of the vision statement and annexation elements. And we are graced this evening by Mr. Bill Weislogel, our Planning Director. Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Peter, and good evening, Commissioners. Before I start on my presentation, I would like to introduce to you our new Assistant City Manager, Peter Troedson.
Hello.
Okay. This is the Commission's second review of the vision statement and the annexation element. I'm going to skip through these introductory slides. These provide the background of the plan, which I've given to you on a couple of occasions in the past, and they were all queued up in case we had any additional folks in the audience who needed that background. So moving to the vision statement, it is a high-level document. It is in the very beginning of the plan. It sets the tone. It's intended to set the tone for the entire plan. It starts by articulating 3 common values: that the essence of a city is found in the collective spirit of its inhabitants, not on its buildings. There's the recognition that some controls on individual actions are necessary to achieve the best interests of the community as a whole. And there's a statement, or a value rather, that human activities are part of a complex system of relationships among all living things and their environment, and that we all have a responsibility to seek a mutually supportive balance. The vision statement proceeds from those 3 commonly held values to articulate 19 statements, and the purpose of those statements is to provide an overarching direction for everything that follows in the plan. We have 13 planning area-wide elements and 17 sub-area plans. So the intent of the vision statement is to set the stage for the rest of the plan. In your initial consideration of the vision statement on February 19th, staff proposed just one amendment, and that amendment was to vision statement number 15, and it had to do with utility services. And the whole idea of that particular recommendation was to update the current terminology because it was a little stale and out of date. It needed some tweaking just to reflect the growth of telecommunications and data transmission as a utility. So on the 19th, the Planning Commission had a pretty good discussion of the vision statement, and these bullets don't represent the universe of all the issues covered that night, but these were the main points. The Commission asked for a reference to Bothell's appreciation for its past. The Commission asked for language, and this is sort of a thematic thing that you said you wanted in several places in the vision statement. The language promoting a healthy business employment environment because it adds economic value to the community. The Commission also asked that a statement regarding public safety be moved up higher up in the vision statement, although there was a recognition that the vision statement it's not hierarchical, but this particular statement was considered to be important enough that it needed to be near the beginning. And finally, the Commission asked for refinement of statements regarding transportation choices and some reference to a community commitment to continued improvement of the city of Bothell. So staff has made an attempt at incorporating all those in the vision statement. Moving on to the annexation element, this element contains goals, policies, and actions that direct the city's annexation activities. This particular element warranted major changes because we have annexed 10 of the 11 designated potential annexation areas around Bothell. 9 of those annexations went into effect just last Friday. They're all 9 King County potential annexation areas that are now part of the city, and 1 went into effect in the end of 2012 in Snohomish County. In your initial consideration of this element on February 19th, staff proposed updating the history section, and that was necessary to reflect all the annexation activity that's occurred since 2004. And then we proposed, because of all those things that happened, we proposed to focus the goals, policies, and action on the 1 remaining potential annexation area. It's only 1 area, but it's really large. It's almost 6 square miles, and it wraps around the city on the west, north, and east. We propose to address scenarios which we think are only remotely likely to happen, where Bothell's planning area boundary could be expanded to create more potential annexation areas. And we propose to introduce in figure AN1, the only figure in that element, the map template that's going to be used throughout the plan. So on that night, on February 19th, the Commission and staff concurred that the inclusion of numerous Snohomish County countywide planning policies and King County countywide planning policies wasn't really helping convey the message of that element. It wasn't helping to make the element more understandable. It was sort of confusing the message. They were in there in the first place because we are required by the Growth Management Act to demonstrate compliance with the Act. But staff and the Commission concurred that that can be done in a separate appendix. It doesn't need to be done right in the body of the element, because it seems to be disruptive. It hurt the flow of the element. And then the Commission asked that staff consider some reorganization to improve clarity. We went back and after extracting out all of those countywide planning policies, it seemed to staff that the organization held up pretty well. It seemed to make sense to us. So in your packet, we are suggesting that it be left as is, but we certainly encourage discussion of that. The approach in that element follows the approach in all the other elements, in that it starts with the purpose and the relationship to the Growth Management Act. It moves to a planning area profile, and then to development of goals, policies, and actions, and then into the goals, policies, and actions themselves. So I'd submit to you that once the countywide planning policies are taken out, it seems to hold together better. But again, that's entirely your call. We're also proposing an amendment that was in your packet, new from the last time, that we include a reference to that figure AN1, the map of the potential annexation area, in policy ANP2. There's a reference to the figure anyway, but it's in the background section of the element, and it really needs to be referenced in a policy. So that's something new that we're introducing. And then there's that a map. Again, it didn't reproduce very well in the transfer to a PowerPoint presentation, but the one in your packet is much better.
Bill, can I just ask a quick question
Sure.
on the map? and this is just to solve my curiosity. We have to the west of the city Linwood at the north, Briar in the middle, and Kenmore to the south end, but there seems to be another jurisdiction between Briar and Kenmore on the west-hand side.
Oh, good question. The dark areas are unincorporated cities. The lighter areas, I'm sorry, the dark areas are incorporated cities. The lighter areas are still unincorporated Snohomish County. So this area is part of Briar's potential annexation, or is a potential annexation area.
Thank you. That's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is part of Mill Creek's. This isn't part of anybody's. East of the planning area boundary, this is designated rural on the Snohomish County Comprehensive Plan.
Does that include the Grace area just north of Woodinville?
It does. Yes,
Okay.
it does. That's correct. All right. So staff's recommendation to you tonight is that you accept public testimony, deliberate, provide direction on any final revisions you might desire to see to these two items, then preliminarily approve the proposed vision statement and the annexation element, again, incorporating any new revisions that you might request tonight. We would then take those two pieces of the comp plan and set them aside, bring them back in July when you've gone through all of the planning area-wide elements, just to make sure that they form a coherent whole. And then we would do the same thing with the sub-area plans. So finally, that you continue the public hearing on the overall 2015 periodic plan and code update to next Wednesday, March 12th, to resume consideration of the natural environment element, which Bruce Blackburn brought to you last week, and any code amendments that might need to go with that plan element, and also to commence consideration of the community services element. Just to remind you and any folks watching at home, we're leapfrogging through the plan elements so that we can stay on track on a very tight timeline and give staff time to respond to any direction we get from the Commission. So that concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to try to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you very much, Bill. Any questions from commissioners on the presentation?
Just one real quick question procedurally. So the study session that we're going to conduct this evening on residential densities downtown, you're proposing that then our follow-up to that, which would probably be a public hearing, would be in 2 weeks, not a week from today. Is that correct?
On the downtown transition code amendments?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have this study session this
Yes.
evening.
Yeah. Actually, I think that
So
hearing-
I'd hope that we could keep any questions on the presentation and we can bring up the study session later.
Well, I'm just making sure, clarifying that March 12th, tonight, the study session follow-up will not be on March 12th.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. These recommendations apply specifically to the 2015 periodic plan and code update.
Got it. Okay,
It's a
thank you.
Different item.
Any other questions? Thank you. At this time, we'll take public testimony. So if there are members of the public that would like to speak to the commission on this topic, please come up to the podium, state your name, cite whether you're a Bothell resident or not, and we can give you 3 to 5 minutes to provide input to the commission. So with that, we'll conclude that any public testimony, and we will ask for any other final comments from commissioners regarding the changes that have been presented to us and comments on the recommendations presented by staff. Patrick, no?
If I could, Bill, I wanted to thank you for removing the planning policies, pulling those things out of there, because it did make it flow significantly better, much easier to read. So.
My only, just one, overriding comment on the vision statement. So what you have marked in red, both is in terms of new language as well as proposed stricken language, I'm very supportive of, and I believe that it reflects the input from the commission from 2 weeks ago. So I won't go through them one by one. There's no need for that, but I just say I support it. And from my standpoint, I'm ready to accept this language.
Thank you, Steve. I would like to say I appreciate staff's willingness to take a look at the vision statement. It's served us well for a long time, but we do have a future, and I'm glad to see that there was good discussion in my absence last time this was brought up, and I do greatly appreciate staff's willingness to incorporate the feedback from the commission. I just have one, what I would call, nuance request, Bill, and it has to go with the uniqueness of Bothell and the overuse of live, work, and play. We do want to distinguish ourselves, and I would suggest just a small language change that may, on the bottom of page VS1, an ethos of sustainability that encourages economic growth and the delivery of city services. Just afraid of a tired phrase making us look just like another one of the 27,000 population cities around the region. So if you would consider that, I'd appreciate it. And I think I would also be in a position to accept everything as written.
Peter, would you mind repeating your proposed language, please?
I would propose that it read, the edit is via responsible development and adherence to an ethos of sustainability in the way we live, work, and play. I would suggest that we say sustainability that encourages economic growth and the delivery of city services. And hearing no comments regarding the annexation portion, I seek a motion to conclude the public hearing.
Question, are we going to close the public hearing now, or are we going to leave that open for comments in July?
I think you can just leave it open. It can just be one long-running public hearing.
Well, thank you very much. That'll be great. Then would take a motion to continue we don't need a motion to continue the public hearing?
On this point.
You do. What we're doing is continuing the public hearing on the overall 2015 periodic plan and code update, and then where we can be specific as to what's coming up the next week, we ask that you do that. So the motion is the last bullet on the screen, the proposed motion.
Thank you for that clarification, Bill. So I would seek a motion to continue the overall public hearing on the 2015 periodic plan and resume consideration of the natural environment and community services elements.
Yes, I move that we continue the public hearing on the overall 2015 public plan and code update to March 12th, 2014, to resume consideration of the natural element and any implementing code amendments, and to commence consideration of the community service element.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Note that it passes unanimously with those present this evening. And at this time, we can move on to the study session on proposed code amendments regarding residential densities in the downtown transition zone. And thank you, Mr. David Boyd.
Thank you, and good evening. Oh, thanks. So tonight we're beginning consideration of a code amendment that was proposed by Marlon Gabbert and Dick Paler as part of the 2013 planning docket to remove the 20 unit per acre density limit in the downtown transition district. And I want to make a correction in what I put in the Planning Commission memo, because as I delved into the presentation and pulled out some old presentations from the last phases of the council deliberations on the downtown plan from 2009, I discovered that the Planning Commission recommendation for this district wasn't exactly as I characterized it. But the important thing is that that recommendation evolved in the council deliberations to a proposal that had no density limits on any of the downtown districts other than the Sunrise Valley View single-family district. Very late in the process, there was an amendment to apply a density limit to the downtown transition. I believe the initial proposal was to keep it at the same as the previous R2800 zoning residential density limit, which would have been about 15 units per acre. There wasn't a lot of time at that point to do in-depth analysis of that proposal. We did present some samples of existing developments and their densities, and suggested that at least a 20 unit per acre would at least create a bit of a transition up from the surrounding R2800 zoning, and that is what was adopted. So since then, we have heard from developers, property owners and developers, in addition to Mr. Gabbert and Mr. Paler, that 20 unit density per acre density limit is a substantial inhibition to redevelopment in the downtown transition district and to the feasibility of development in that district. So we're bringing to you tonight some additional analysis on that we weren't able to do in the last stages of the downtown plan, and also pointing out that there was in the deliberations on the downtown plan, there were a number of changes that from what was initially proposed by staff and the consultants, to reduce building heights, to increase setbacks, add special setbacks for development immediately adjacent to single-family zoning, limit building lengths. So we do feel like the plan went a long way in addressing that transition function of the downtown transition district and protecting the character of the surrounding residential developments, even without the density limit. So this map shows the downtown transition district areas in orange. They basically form that transition from downtown neighborhood in most cases, in a couple of cases directly from downtown core to the surrounding residential development outside the downtown core or downtown sub-area. And we'll come back to this map later in the presentation. So for additional background, included in your packet and have up on the screen here the vision statement from the downtown plan for the downtown transition district, which includes some photographs of the kind of development that the zoning and the policies in the plan encourage: townhouse type development, smaller scaled apartment, walk-up apartments, the types of streetscapes, narrower streets, still tree-lined to produce an attractive pedestrian environment. And the renderings also show how the scale steps down from larger development in the core to smaller development, transitioning to single-family development outside the downtown sub-area. And then, just again for background, I've included the district requirements for the downtown transition district, which include the use requirements. It's primarily a residential district. There are some opportunities for business and personal services uses, but not retail uses. Setbacks and height limits, and then on the second page of those, the requirements chart under the special downtown transition district requirements is the density requirement that was added, like I said, late in the process. So the recommendation, the request, and at this point the Planning Commission's recommendation would be to simply eliminate that. Now, as we get into this, look at the analysis of some of the existing density, we certainly could have a discussion about whether it would make sense to simply raise that density limit. But at this point, our feeling is that the initial recommendation to rely on setbacks, building height, and other development factors like parking to establish the allowable density or the feasible density are adequate. And here I did include also this page showing the setback requirements, including the special setback regulations that require a larger setback adjacent to single-family zones, and not just a larger setback, but a substantial landscape buffering within those larger setbacks. So moving on to the analysis, and these are actually slides, slightly altered slides from the analysis that we presented to City Council at the end of their deliberations on the downtown plan in 2009. And I included some in the packet. These slides include a few additional ones. And I'm going to kind of work clockwise around from around the downtown transition district from the southwest. So this is an apartment building on 96th Avenue Northeast, just north of 180th. It was previously zoned R2800 OP, which has basically is a residential density of 15 units per acre. It's currently in the downtown transition with the 20 unit per acre density limit. Its current density as developed is 28.3 dwelling units per acre. So this is just one of a number of examples that we have in the downtown transition district that are in some cases significantly higher than the allowed limit currently. Right next door to that is a newer development. Let me see. Oop. Well, the photo is wrong here, but the correct photo is in your packet. A newer development that is a threeplex. You can see in the aerial photograph that it left a very substantial area at the back side, the uphill side of the lot, undeveloped. And therefore, it was developed under the R2800 zoning, but it actually has a density of just over 10 units per acre. Some of these developments, the ones that have higher densities than was even allowed under the previous zoning, were developed under even further zoning further back from the immediately previous zoning that did allow higher densities. Moving clockwise through the downtown transition district, this is an small apartment complex on 97th Avenue, previously zoned R2800 OP, again, that has a current density of just over 20 dwelling units per acre. And then moving onto the other side of Bothell Way, or right along Bothell Way on the east side, This is actually, just for comparison, this is one that was used, again, presented to council to show some of the, this is an area that actually that at that time council was debating whether to include in the downtown neighborhood or downtown transition district. In the end, they decided to keep it in the downtown neighborhood district as recommended, with a 5-story height limit and no density limit. But it's currently built to a density of 91.2 dwelling units per acre, and this is immediately adjacent to downtown transition district zoning. And just moving a block to the east, we have the Cedar Manor project, previously zoned R2800 OP, currently in the downtown transition district. It has a density of 35.3 dwelling units per acre. And immediately adjacent to that, just outside of the downtown sub-area, and one of the properties that this density limit is intended to mitigate against is another apartment, and I apologize, the photo didn't come through here, but immediately next to this project in the picture is a project with 24.2 dwelling units per acre. And again, this is a little bit further to the east on 186th Street. This is a small lot, 3,960 square foot lot, previously zoned R2800 OP, currently zoned downtown transition. In this case, the previously allowed density, because of the Lower Maywood Special District regulations, which allow any established lot to have be developed as a duplex, that would be a 22 dwelling unit per acre density, compared to the current downtown transition with 20 unit per acre density limit. In either case, the math results in allowing 2 dwelling units on this site, but I just thought it was worthwhile recognizing that the Lower Maywood district does allow some additional density than the underlying zoning would appear to give. Just south of that on or southwest of that on 185th, apartment building, The Pines, across from the police station, built in 1959. Previously R2800 OP, currently downtown transition, and with a density of 51, over 51 units an acre. Again, moving to the east, we have up on 186th Street again, a parcel just outside of the downtown sub-area that's zoned R2800. It's just across the alley from downtown transition district zoning along the north side of 185th. This is an apartment, even though it has a zone density of 15 units per acre, is built to 16.7 dwelling units per acre. So again, some of the development that we're trying to protect against with these transition requirements actually has higher density than would be allowed by the underlying zoning, current underlying zoning. And then back on 185th, here is an existing 5-unit apartment building that was previously zoned R2800 OP again, but developed to just over 30 units per acre. And that brings us to the parcel right next door to it, this vacant parcel, which really was the subject, the impetus for this code amendment. The existing condo that we were just looking at is here. This is a proposal for a potential development on that adjacent lot that was developed by Marlon Gabbert's office. And on the other side is an existing office building. So this is an example of the kind of infill development that that the downtown development would encourage in this kind of zoning. This is the plan layout. It has a through block drive aisle similar to the project to the east, with parking, 2 parking bays underneath the structure, a ground floor with office space on 185th and some surface parking on the backside, and then 2 levels of small apartments, studio to 1-bedroom apartments, about 750 square feet each. So a total of 8 units. These are sections showing in the dashed line here the grade level. So it is within the height limits of the downtown transition district, 3 stories and 35 feet. And schematic elevations, again, showing the height with the existing grade highlighted in blue ink here. So that's an example of the kinds of developments that at that proposal at 8 units on 7,600 square foot lot or 7,260 square foot lot would come to about 48 units per acre. The zoning, the 20 unit per acre limit would essentially limit this to 3 or 4 units. So it's it would be a substantial impediment or disincentive to redevelop this property. So again, the map, next steps here, encourage additional input from Mr. Paler, who is here tonight, and then for the Planning Commission to provide input on preferred approaches, additional information desired, and any ideas for potential findings to bring back at the March 26th public hearing. So,
Thank you, David. Appreciate that. Any points of clarification or specific questions for Mr. Boyd on the presentation?
Dave, the proposal doesn't, as far as bulk, the building could be the same size if it's 3 units or 50 units, correct?
correct.
Height, everything the same,
Yeah.
right? And then on this proposal, for the B on the special downtown district on that page 4 you showed us, are you proposing to eliminate the second paragraph?
The one that
The only residential uses allowed adjacent to single-family zones?
that wasn't part of the initiating language, and it doesn't really impact the density or the feasibility of developments. We anticipate that the development up along West Hill will be solely residential.
Okay, so you're not proposing that to go
No.
away? Okay.
Thank you. Other specific points of clarification or questions on the presentation?
David, what's the downside of just letting the free market system work, and basically saying, hey, we've got this height limit and we've got these setbacks, particularly if the same size building can be built? What am I missing?
Well, I don't see a downside. Like I said, the special setback requirements, the architectural guidelines, all we feel will ensure development that's quality and compatible with the adjacent areas, and that the 20 unit limit was a misguided effort to take one more step to protect the surrounding neighborhoods.
Yeah, from my perspective, I'm very comfortable leaving it with a height limit and setbacks.
Yeah. So we hope that these are just clarifying points on the presentation, as we're going to offer public a chance to provide us some input before we deliberate and make a decision. Any other specific thoughts? David, just one point for me. I'm looking at your presentation, and I appreciate the level of effort you've gone through to research the different conditions and provide them to us. And maybe this is just my interpretation of what's being presented. Are we trying to decide on a change because we have a lot of non-conforming conditions within the transition zone, or are we trying to stimulate new growth by changing the code to create change in the transition zone? And I kind of got a sense from your presentation that there's a lot of non-conforming that we're trying to adapt to, but my sense of the overall Bothell vision was to create a stimulus of transition redevelopment.
That's correct. So the examples I did give, most of them were non-conforming situations as of now with the density limit. Many of them were non-conforming even before the downtown plan. But you're right. The important thing is the vision statement, which talks about the downtown transition providing or helping build the vitality of the downtown core by providing additional housing and, in some cases, some additional business and services opportunities on the periphery of the downtown plan.
Thank you.
I had just one quick question. Are there density limits on the other downtown key core areas, downtown core, downtown neighborhood?
No, none of the other core areas or central downtown districts have density. The only one that really does is the Sunrise Valley View single-family area, where we essentially kept the same 8,400 and 9,600 minimum lot sizes. And in fact, previously, much of the downtown had a RAC zoning overlay, not necessarily these downtown transition areas, but even before the downtown plan, that RAC zoning didn't have a density limit. It relied on the height, bulk, and scale requirements of the downtown plan to control density.
Thank you.
Thank you. So at this time, we know we have some folks in the audience that would like to provide some testimony or at least speak with the commission during the study session. We hope that you'll be able to help inform us as we move forward to an eventual public hearing. So if you would like to come up and talk on this subject, please state your name, whether you're a Bothell resident, and take 3 to 5 minutes to share your thoughts with us.
I will. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Dick Paler. Yes, I am a Bothell resident. And there really isn't much more I can add. I think everybody here gets what we're doing and why we're doing it, and makes sense. And Dave has done a great job with this, and I think that's largely because they did a good job the first time in 2009. They had it right. And I was here at the hearing, I think it was till 10:30, 11 o'clock at night after, 3 years of the downtown plan. And this was literally an 11th hour proposal, a series of amendments that were proposed. This was one that the council majority chose to approve. But if I recall correctly, I think there was little or no feedback from, I know there was no feedback from the public. There was, I think, little or no opportunity by the staff to even comment on what a difference this would make or if it does any good. And that's the bottom line, is it doesn't, having the density limit doesn't protect anybody from anything that isn't already protected. By exactly as a couple of the members have already pointed out here, you have that's the deal. When you buy into the form-based zoning, this is the way to go. You know what the size of the box is, and by traffic, concurrency requirements, level of service, parking, setback, landscape, etc., you are controlling the impacts to the neighborhood. And it doesn't matter at the end of the day, as long as you comply with all those other things, whether you're building, 20 units of 4,000 square foot units, provided it fits in the box, or you're building, 80,000 square foot units. It doesn't matter in terms of managing the impacts. And that's the whole purpose of all of these requirements in the code, is to make sure that it's compatible. So, again, this is something that should be done. And another reason is, you know, we're all in on the downtown plan, and part of what will make the retail and all the other activity stuff successful is having more people living downtown. And, you know, that was all by design. We want to protect the neighborhoods in the city, which we're doing. In the downtown, we're going to have density and such that it will attract people. And this is, quite honestly, the current code, this restriction is a limitation towards that goal. So removing that, making it consistent with every other zoning category in downtown is the right thing. So I encourage your approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Paler. Others that would like to speak with the commission, provide input? Thank you very much. So at this time, we'll open it up for general discussion with commissioners on the information in the study session. Thoughts, comments? David, could you put your recommendation back up on the screen so we could look at it as we make a decision to move forward?
Well, I didn't actually place a recommendation here as
Well, next steps.
but the next steps, yeah.
So the only thing that comes to my mind, and it actually is based on Mr. Paler's input and his comments around level of service, it would seem to me that it would be good to understand in a general sense, not necessarily a specific sense, but a general sense, the densities that might be achieved through this, and would that stress the existing expectations of level of service for the utility master plan and the transportation master plan for downtown? And just wanting to make sure that if there are other effects of the decision, that we can account for that as we move forward.
Yeah, I can certainly bring back some information on that. The project that I showed there reaches a density of 48 units per acre, which again is less than some of the existing developments in the area. The other thing, as far as the impacts, the downtown plan was done under a planned action environmental impact statement that looked at the cumulative impacts of the development that was foreseen. And in terms of residential units, it was 2,760 total units over the course of this 25-year projected period. So there is an ultimate limit. If we hit that limit, if we're widely successful and reach that limit before we get to a point where we have decided that we need to redo the plan entirely, then we would have to amend the environmental impact statement or supplement the environmental impact statement with additional analysis. But in terms of and to play devil's advocate, one could argue that building 8 units there and 20 more units on the adjacent parcel would produce a bigger traffic impact. But those have already been analyzed and determined to be within the scope of the plan. So.
Great. Well, thank you. Other than that, I would think that we'd be ready to come back to a public hearing. I think we have it on the calendar for March 26th.
That's right.
Everybody else on board with that?
Yep.
Great. We look forward to seeing you then, David.
And if there are any suggestions in terms of findings, I can take those now, but otherwise I'll take my best shot at it and bring that back to you as well.
That'd be great. Thank you much. Appreciate input from the public. Thanks for coming out. So, moving down the agenda, no old business. Doesn't look like we have any reports from staff. Any reports from members? Seek a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We'll see you all next week.